Well, fight fans, it feels like we've been waiting forever for this card, and it feels like we've ran into so many problems along the way, but it's finally going to be here Saturday night. UFC 187 on pay-per-view. 2 title fights headlining the card. We will have a new light heavyweight champion. The only question is, who's it going to be? We have a middleweight title defense that we feel like we've been waiting for forever. We have one of the most entertaining fighters in any of the divisions in action. The card is stacked from top to bottom. Even the prelims on Fight Pass look to be pretty interesting. You know what? That's going to be a lot of fun. You know what else is fun? Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. And you're probably thinking, what? Yes, Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com, where you could do something just so much awesome. And that is win money. Now you're probably wondering, Gus, what in the hell are you talking about? Well, I will tell you. If you've ever heard of certain fantasy football leagues where you pay in and if you have a very good team or if you have the best team, you win money. It's kind of like that. If you've heard of DraftKings, this is very much along the line of DraftKings. So I'm going to tell you how you play Kountermove, because I've done it quite a few times. I'm not perfect. I've been kind of like, but I've done pretty good. So you're probably wondering, well, why the hell should I listen to this idiot? Well, I'll tell you. Just sit back and listen. Kountermove Fantasy MMA works like this. First off, you go on to their website, you pick a game. And they've got, first you sign up, then you pick a game. Anyway, they got free games. They got games we're going for like maybe 10 cents all the way to $100 for pay-ins. But the payouts on quite a few of these are pretty damn good. I mean, some of these, even some of the really cheap ones, the top, I don't know how many spots will pay out. Most of the time, double what your entry fee is at least. So if even some of these sites, like, just say, I think one of them's like 111, top 111 spots pay out. If you're the 111th best picker in this whole group, you're going to get money. It's that simple. And it's a lot of fun. Kountermove MMA. Well, wait a second. Let me explain how this works. After you pick pick a game. You pick a game, and then you go to the screen. And my laptop is not set for me to show you what the screen would look like, or I would, which kind of sucks. But anyway, that can't show the screen. You will see the fighters in a list. Obviously, whoever's facing who will be on the next side. So on one side, you'll have Anthony Johnson, and the other side, you'll have Daniel Cormier, because they're facing off. Okay, makes sense. You will be given a imaginary salary cap of $25,000, and you have to pick 5 fighters for your team. And you have to equal or come below the salary cap. Once you make your team, just hit play, or whatever the button is. I can't even remember off the top of my head right now. I am not in good form today. Anyway, just hit the button, and all you have to do is just wait for Saturday night, score points, and hopefully you're one of the better pickers and you win money. It's that simple. I actually won over $200 some one time. And it's perfectly legal. In case you're wondering, it is all completely legal. Now, how are points scored in Kountermove? Points are scored on significant strikes. They're scored on takedowns landed. They're scored on submission attempts and dominant positions. If the fight goes to a decision, you will get points based on rounds 1. However, if they get a finish, you get a pretty heavy points bonus. 100 points if it's the first round, 75 points for the second round, and if it happens in the third, fourth, or fifth rounds, it's 50 points. So when you're picking your team, what you want, aside from obviously staying within your budget for this, is we want finishes, we want them fast. This is where the picking comes in. I'm going to show, or actually I'm going to tell you, I can't show you this. It's not set up for some reason to do that. I'm going to tell you who I think you could pick. I'm going to give you my picks for who wins the matches themselves, but I'm going to also say whether you should go with it or if you should avoid this fight. So hopefully you can listen to me, base your picks off what I've suggested, and hopefully you do well. I really hope you do. Remember, we want finishes, we want them early. First round, obviously. First fight in the card is Justin Scoggins versus Josh Sampo. Scoggins is 9-2. He has a 78% finish rate. 5 first-round finishes, but he lost his last fight by submission. Josh Sampo is 11-4. He's got a 55% finish rate, all submissions. So he's got slightly more submissions than decisions. 3 finishes in the first round, but his last fight, he lost it by submission in the first round. Now, this is a fairly even fight. Scoggins 4,900, Sampo 4,700. Sampo has his best strength in submissions, and Scoggins lost his last fight by submission. However, I think this fight is too close to call. If I had to pick, I think I like Sampo's chances, but I'd rather go with a more sure thing. I think you could probably put Sampo in your car if you want a cheaper fighter, but I'm going to look for value somewhere else. Next up, we have 2 newcomers to the UFC. Leo Kuntz versus Islam Makhachev. I hope I pronounced it right. Kuntz is 17-1-1. He has a 70% finish rate. 3 first-round finishes. His only loss was early in his career by submission, but it was in the first round. Islam Makhachev is undefeated. He's 11-0. He has about a 2/3 finish rate. 5 first-round finishes, and some of his fights occurred at, of course, M1 Global, which is very well respected. This fight's another close one to call. I think if I'm going to go with anyone to win this, I'm going to probably go with Makhachev. I think he probably picks up the win. I'm going to look somewhere else for my pick, though. Next up, we have Mike Pyle versus Colby Covington. If you're familiar enough with, if you've actually followed UFC for a while, if you're really familiar with the welterweight division, you're probably like most people, you know who Mike Pyle is. He's fought everybody for a very long time, since like 1999. He's even fought Quentin Rampage Jackson. He's 26-10-1. He has an 85% finish rate. That's very good. He's been finished in all but one of his losses. 7 times he's been finished in the first round. He was finished in the first round of his last fight. He's also 39 years old. That's something to consider. Colby Covington is 7-0. He has a 71% finish rate, all by submission. 3 first-round finishes, but he has not fought a very high level of competition. Covington is a favorite at this, but he's also undervalued at 4,400. But I like Mike Pyle in this fight. He has a lot of experience, and even at 39 years old and having fought forever, he's fought since before they even had the unified code of mixed martial arts. So that's a very long time ago. I think even with all of that, I like him to win this fight. I think he's someone you should think about putting on your team. He is at $4,800. That's pretty good pricing. Alright, then we go women's strawweight, the only women's fight on the card. Rose Namajuanis against Nina Ansaroff. Namajuanis is 2-2. Both of her wins are by submission, but she lost her last fight by submission. That was in the Ultimate Fighter season finale when she lost against Carla Esparza for the inaugural Women's Strawweight Championship. Ansaroff is 6-4. She has an 84% finish rate. 2 first-round finishes. She's only been finished once, but that was a submission. I think this fight is a lot closer than it shows on the pricing. Namajuanis, $5,300. Ansaroff, $4,300. It's a lot closer. than it looks, I think. Namajuanis, I lean more to get the win, but I do think it's too close to call. I'm going to skip this fight. Next, you have Uriah Hall versus Rafael Natal. Hall is 10-4. He has an 80% finish rate, 5 first-round finishes. He's only been finished once in his career, way back before his UFC days, but that was a round 1 finish. Although then again, that was also to Chris Weidman before, of course, Chris Weidman became the man. And of course, if you're a fan of Ultimate Fighter and you remember the season Jones versus Sonnen, Hall was on Chael Sonnen's team. He had one of the nastiest knockouts in the history of Ultimate Fighter. Rafael Natal is 19-6-1. He has about a 58% finish rate, so slightly more than half. He's fought some pretty decent competition, 5 first-round finishes, but 4 of his losses are knockouts or TKOs. Natal at 4,100 may seem like a steal, but I don't like his chances in this fight. And where Hall is a knockout artist, I like his chances here. However, he's 5,500. That's way too expensive, and I think you can get better value somewhere else on the card. Next up, we have a good one. Josh Berkman versus Don Hyun Kim. Berkman has been around for a long time. He is 27-10 with 1 no contest. He has a 63% finish rate. That's pretty, about 2/3. It's not bad. He's fought very solid competition pretty much everywhere. 15 first-round finishes. He has been finished in the past, but his last fight was a decision loss that got overturned because Hector Lombard turned out to be positive for steroids. Don Hyun Kim is 19-3-1 with 1 no contest. He has a 47% finish rate, which is not really that good. 3 first-round finishes, but his last 3 losses have come in the first round. He's fought some very strong competition as well. Kim is the favorite, 4,900. Most people are going to lean toward Don Hyun Kim, but he goes to the decision a lot, and he has been finished in the first round. Josh Berkman is very good at finishing people in that first round as well. I like Berkman to pull off the upset, and at 4,700, that is good value. I'm putting Josh Berkman on my team. Next, we finish up the prelims. John Dodson versus Zach Makovsky. Dodson, of course, the winner of the Ultimate Fighter season in Mayhem Miller versus Michael Bisping. He won the bantamweight bracket. Interestingly enough, he defeated the current bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw. Something kind of to note there. He is 16-6. He has about 63% finish rate. 7 first-round finishes. He has never been stopped. He went the distance against the current champion, Demetrius Johnson. He has faced top-level flyweights in his UFC career, and he also comes from the Jackson Winklejohn camp, which is one of the best. Everyone knows about Jackson Winklejohn. It's an amazing camp. Zach Fun-Size Makovsky is 19-5. He has a 37% finish rate. Ew. He has 3 first-round finishes, but has not finished a fight since 2011. He has not finished a fight in UFC. I like John Dodson to win this one, and win this one big, and win this one early by knockout. He is at 5,100, but if you put in a couple of good, cheaper fighters, you should be able to easily afford Dodson. I think he's worth putting on your team. Then we hit the main card. Staying with flyweights and staying with contenders. Joseph Benavidez versus John Moraga. If you're familiar with the flyweight division, you're familiar with Benavidez. He is 21-4. He has a 71% finish rate. He has fought at an elite level in his weight class. He's only been stopped once in his career, but that was a brutal first-round knockout at the hands of Demetrius Johnson in the first round in 2013. Benavidez has 6 first-round finishes. He is totally dangerous at submissions. He's got some of the best submissions around in his division. Of course, it also helps he trains a Team Alpha Male, which is like Submission City. John Moraga is 16-3. He has a 63% finish rate. 5 first-round finishes. He's fought top-level guys as well, including Mighty Mouse. but he's also been stopped twice, including against Mighty Mouse. The fact that he's been stopped, and the fact that he's one of those stops was by submission against Mighty Mouse, I'm going to go with Joseph Benavidez to win this one. Now, at 5,300, he's one of the priciest fighters on the card. I think you need to make room for Jiu-Jitsu here. I think he gets the win. I think he gets it early. I think he gets it big. Then we go into heavyweights. This will be fun. Travis Browne versus Andrei Arlovski. Browne is 17-2-1. He has an 88% finish rate, 13 first-round finishes. He's beaten some very tough competition, including guys like Gabriel Gonzaga, Alistair Overeem, Brendan Schaub. He's a nasty striker, and he can take as much as he can dish out. One of those two losses was a finish, but it didn't help that he also injured himself in that fight against Bigfoot Silva. Andrei Arlovski, if you've known the UFC and fighting for a long time, you'll know that Arlovski is the former UFC heavyweight champion, but that was a long time ago. He is 23-10 with 1 no contest. He has an 83% finish rate. He's fought everyone. He's fought forever. 12 first-round finishes. 7 losses, however, by knockout and TKO, including 5 in the very first round. Now, he did have his last win as a first-round finish of Bigfoot Silva. I can't believe that Arlovski, at this point in his career, is again a possible contender for a championship. I think you need to have one of these two guys on your team. This is going to end in a finish. This is going to end huge. Arlovski is cheap at 4,400, so he's worth looking at. But I like Travis Browne at 5,200. It's a little pricey, but I like Travis Browne. He's a he's a nasty striker. He's a great knockout artist. I think he gets the win. I think he gets it big. I think he gets the finish. But either way, put one of these guys on your team. Next up is a fun one. My mom's favorite fighter, Cowboy Donald Cerrone, against John Makdessi. Cerrone is 27-6 with 1 no contest. Everyone knows who Cowboy Donald Cerrone is. He has a 71%, roughly 71% finish rate. He's fought just about everyone there is to fight in the UFC. He has a highlight reel of finishes, and then it's a 7-fight win streak, and has had 12 first-round finishes, but his last 3 wins were by decision. John Makdessi is 13-3. He has a 69% finish rate, all knockout and TKO. 5 first-round finishes. His last fight was a first-round finish, but that was at UFC 186. He's coming in very short notice. If he was coming in on a bit earlier notice, and if, I think maybe you have a slight chance, and if this was Khabib Nurmagomedov instead of John Makdessi, I think I would pick against Cerrone here. But considering there's a short notice, I like Donald Cerrone. I think he wins. I think he gets a knockout. I think or a submission. He get that too, but he gets big knockouts. I think he wins this fight early. And at 4,500, oh my God, you have to put him on your team. Put him on your team. You can put some of these more expensive guys like Benavidez on your team. Donald Cerrone is guaranteed. I think he gets a big finish. 4,500. That is awesome price. Put him on your team. Next, we have our middleweight co-main event. The champ Chris Weidman against Vitor Belfort. Everyone knows who these two guys are. Chris Weidman is undefeated. He's the champ. He has a 67% finish rate. He is an elite level wrestler. He ended the reign of the great Anderson Silva by knockout. He has 5 first-round finishes. This guy is tough as nails. Vitor Belfort has been around forever. He is 24-10 with an 84% finish rate. He is the former light heavyweight champion. 16 first-round finishes. This guy has fought everyone there is to fight in the UFC light heavyweight and middleweight divisions. But while he is on a 3-fight win streak, all knockouts, it must be noted that those all came when he was on testosterone replacement therapy. He can't do that anymore. He is also 38 years old. think he's way overpriced at $5,000. That should be a lot lower. I would like Chris Weidman. He is going to get a win. He's going to get big. He's going to get it early. The problem is Weidman is 5,500, and admittedly, you can't sleep on Vitor Belfort. I think Weidman gets a big win early, but at 5,500, I think I could probably find some good value elsewhere for my fantasy team. And finally, we have our main event. Oh my God. Light heavyweight championship will be decided. Daniel Cormier versus Anthony Johnson. Cormier is 15-1. He has a 67% finish rate. He has fought elite fighters, mostly at heavyweight, but now he's at light heavyweight. He's fighting some good ones there too. He has 6 first-round finishes. His only loss was to John Jones, and that was by decision. He is dangerous on the ground, and he's dangerous on his feet. Anthony Rumble Johnson is 19-4. He has a 68% finish rate, all by knockout or TKO. He was terrifying at welterweight, but at his natural weight class of light heavyweight, his power is terrifying. His last 2 wins were over Antonio Rogerio Nogueira and Alexander Gustafsson by brutal TKOs. 10 first-round finishes, but he's been submitted in 3 of his losses. The other loss was an eye poke TKO, which was the stupidest thing on planet Earth. This fight is too close to call. Johnson, 4,800. That looks good value instead of Cormier at 5,400. But it's way too close for me to call. If I had to pick, I'd say Cormier, but I'd rather go with a sure thing for my team. So once you come up with your picks, just hit the play now button. Boom. You have your team ready to go. And if at any point you're like, nah, maybe I don't want, say, Travis Brown. Maybe I want Mike Pyle instead. You can switch it. You have until the start of fight night to be able to do that. You can switch as much as you want. So what are my picks, in case you're wondering? I'm taking Cowboy Donald Cerrone, Josh Berkman, John Dodson, Joseph Benavidez, and Travis Brown. Those are my picks. That is set in stone. That's who I'm having on my fantasy team. I can't begin to tell you how fun this is. It's obviously more fun if you win money, but it's a lot of fun to do this. I've done it quite a few times. It's a lot of fun. I think you can even play some of the free games if you want, and get a feel for it. It's really great. It's really enjoyable. Again, 100% legal as well. Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. I love it. I do it all. I've done it for the last few months. I'm doing, again, fairly decent at it. And I like this card. This is a great card to get your start on for Kountermove. Why wait? Try it today. Hopefully I'll be able to do another video soon. I could give you picks and everything for who I like win fights and who I think may be a good Kountermove team. Hey, you never know. Maybe you'll beat me on some of these games. So until then, I'm Gus Richland, and here's hoping your drain's operable.